Every empire tells its people that weapons are for protection, but the truth? Protection is always the first lie. In 2024, the world spent over $2.7 trillion on the military. That's a 9.4% increase, the sharpest jump since the Cold War. Fueled by the war in Ukraine, the bombing of Gaza, and tensions in the Pacific. NATO nations are now told to spend 2% of GDP on defense. But while missiles multiply, peacekeepers vanish. The United Nations, once the world's peace force, now survives on scraps. In 2024, it received just $6 billion in the first 6 months. The US burns through that in 12 days, just on missile interceptors. The entire UN budget is less than America's monthly defense surplus. They're not underfunded by accident. They're being outcompeted by war. In Europe, 300 billion euros are being redirected from welfare to warfare. And still, 9 NATO countries couldn't meet the target. That target was set back in 2002. Spain refused. They called the pressure unreasonable. They chose sovereignty over obedience and stuck with 1.24%. In 2023, militarization rose in 108 countries, and that same year saw the highest number of conflicts since World War II. This isn't protection, it's proliferation. This isn't strategy, it's architecture. They're not preparing for peace, they're engineering permanent war. And you're paying for the silence. They said it was for peace, but the peacekeepers are being pulled. And the aid workers? They're gone too. USAID saved over 91 million lives in 2 decades. Now it's collapsing, frozen, defunded, and fading. The United Nations? Once a peace force, now outpaced by arms deals and political games. Missions are ending. Troops are coming home. And not because the war is over, but because funding is. While peacekeepers retreat, NATO expands. And that expansion comes at a cost to the planet. Their new targets will emit over 200 million tons of CO2 each year. But no one's calculating that into their strategy. They tell civilians to recycle, then roll tanks across deserts and fire missiles across oceans. And here's the data they never show you. A study across 116 countries proves it. The more you spend on war, the less you spend on life. Military up equals health down. Guns in equals medicine out. So what is it all really buying? Since February 2022, at least 669 children have been killed in Ukraine. Since October 2023, over 13,000 children have died in Gaza. On October 7th, 33 children died in Israel. And in Russia, civilian zones remain mostly untouched. Total, over 13,700 children, erased by wars they never started. Not soldiers, not militants, not threats, just children. They called it defense, but we know the truth. They're not buying protection, they're buying silence. And before I take my leave, I want you to sit with a single thought. A line left behind by a man who saw far too clearly. H.G. Wells. If we don't end war, war will end us.